Hello again, I'm Robert Fithen, and in this video I want to put a little word to the wise out there, a little buyer beware about 3 relatively new releases on vinyl and then one 80s Japanese pressing that is just bizarre. So I'll talk about all that, starting off with Andre 3000. It's been a long time coming. 20 years we've waited for something from Andre 3000 or Outkast, so he has finally delivered his first solo album. Now this was actually released back in November, but it just now is getting a vinyl release, a triple album that retails around 80, 85 bucks, something like that. So if you're going to spend that kind of money, you should know what you're getting. And what you're getting is his new album called New Blue Sun, that has been reviewed by some different people, last year, late November when it first came out. And I've heard a lot of people referring to this as a flute album or flute jazz. And so I didn't hear it when it was first out. I finally heard it because it was just released, like I said, on vinyl. And I would not call this jazz, and I would not call this a flute thing, because I think if you go into it with that kind of a thing, you'll get the wrong idea. It is not like Charlie Brown music where and the jazz is playing and all that. This is more like new age music. It's very, very esoteric. I don't think a lot of people are going to like this, and certainly people who are huge fans of Outkast are going to be like what in the world is this? Now I'm full disclosure, if you've seen my channel for a while, you know I'm not a huge fan of hip hop anyway. But it's mostly because of I'm just not a fan of sampling. I just want to hear the original, songs that the samples came from, usually kind of like cover songs. But I did like Outkast's, like Hey Ya and Miss Jackson, all those songs. I thought they had a very, different kind of sound. They had a really unique approach to it, and I really appreciated that. So I wasn't like waiting for the new Outkast like a lot of people were like this, but I thought it would be interesting to listen to and see, okay, what's this going to be? Because, they're Andre 3000, Outkast, kind of like, got their own thing going on. And he certainly has his own thing going on with this new album. 8 tracks, 90 minutes, like I said, 3 records, 80 to 85 bucks new. And it is definitely something that you want to stream before you go running into the record store and go, new Andre 3000, I've got it, woo! The song titles alone. The very first title is called, I Swear I Really Wanted to Make a Rap Album, but This Is Literally the Way the Wind Blew Me. So it kind of sounds like a disclaimer or almost an apology, an excuse for the album you're about to hear. But then you see this title, these titles are just very long and bizarre. The second song is called The Slang Word Pussy Rolls Off the Tongue for with far better ease than the proper word vagina. Do you agree? That's the full title of the song. So you might see a title like that and go, wow, this guy's, rapping. This is a party album right here. This is more of the type of thing that, like I said, it would be considered like new age. Like some good old Philip Glass type stuff or Shadowfax or something like that. This is the kind of thing where you go to visit the planetarium and this kind of music is playing. It's a lot of like chimes and cymbals, but instead of the cymbals going, the cymbals are like this building crescendo of, it's just got all of these, this is soundscapes. Is basically what this is. This isn't like a, bopping along with the jazz or, certainly not hip hop or anything like that. So you should just know before the Andre 3000. I got to give it up to the guy. He did what he wanted, apparently. He didn't care about commercial success or what people would think. He went out and totally did his own thing. I can appreciate listening to this in the right setting. Like I said, a planetarium, or something like that, or something with a visual that could go along with it, but the tracks are just these really long, lush soundscape with these sometimes bizarre sounds coming into them, almost like it's imitating like a little animal or something like that. But I don't hear like the flute jazz thing. I'm not getting that at all. I mean, there is like a flute in it. There's something called a digital woodwind instrument too, I noticed on the credits. It does not specify exactly what that is. There's little like tiny like samples, but they're not like, James Brown samples. They're like samples of like sounds. So it's a soundscape thing. It's a new age type of thing. It's the type of thing that should be playing in a greenhouse or a planetarium or something like that. So just know that before you go checking out the new Andre 3000 New Blue Sun like I said, 3 records of this. I think it would have been better as just maybe 1 record, because after the first 2 tracks or so, you kind of get the idea. It's like, okay, we got it. But, you know, I can see people listening to this and enjoying it. What I can't see is the critics when this came out. Everybody's giving it like an A+ and 5, because of course the professional critics are. That's what they do. That's why I don't care about professional critics, and I just watch people on YouTube, because you get the real deal usually. So that's one of the new releases. Like I said, came out in November, but just now came out on vinyl. Something though completely different from a completely different era is Whitesnake and Slide It In. This is not the Japanese pressing that I'm going to be talking about. This is just the American cover of this. But I just wanted to show this as kind of the thing. The Japanese pressing actually looks like that. But this is one of the strangest records I've ever heard. First of all, a little history on Slide It In. There's 2 versions of this. There's the UK version and the US version. And the US version is a remix, basically. They beefed it up a little bit, made it sound a little more commercial for the American hard rock audience. And while that was going on, David Coverdale decided, well, you know what? Let's change out the bass and guitar parts with our new bassist and guitarist. So not only is it a remix, but in some instances it's a re-recording, basically. So you have 2 versions of this. And the Japanese pressings, there's 2 versions. There's the UK one, and then there's the US remix Japanese pressing. That is the one you need to know about before you go laying down like $40 on this thing. This is bizarre. First of all, it's only 6 songs. The album has, what is this? The album has 10 songs. This Japanese import only has 6. So it's a little over half the album. And in place of the other 4 songs, there's interview segments with David Coverdale. So you put the album on. I think the first track is Slide It In, right? I used to play the big singles all the time on the radio. Slide It In, Love Ain't No Stranger, Slow and Easy, you know, Guilty of Love. They are all on the Japanese import of this. But you get like, you know, these tracks, and then instead of like the other 4 songs, you get these interview segments with David Coverdale discussing the songs. So you're ready for Slide It In, that plays, and then all of a sudden you get talking. You know, just David Coverdale telling you the meaning behind the song Slide It In. Like giving this like serious interview. This song is about relationships, and it's like you're gonna like explain the song Slide It In to us. Like that needs an explanation. What a dissertation on Smooth Up In You from the Bullet Boys? We know what Slide It In means, and this guy is being all pretentious, acting like it's some higher meaning to the song and all of this kind of stuff. He does this for each of the 6 songs on there. One of them, by the way, I think it's Slow and Easy, is a single edit of the song. So you're not even getting the full version. Very bizarre. I know a lot of people go for Japanese pressings because they want that particular kind of sound quality. You gotta love the side belt there, the obi strip. And, you know, just the fact that it's something kind of different for the US, you know, because you've got it's something that was created in Japan. And especially with the hard rock and heavy metal stuff, very popular to get Japanese pressing. So I just want you to know before you go into buying the Whitesnake US Remix Japanese pressing of Slide It In, that it is 6 of the songs, 1 of them edited, and a bunch of interview segments that are completely unnecessary. I don't know who in the world this was made for. I don't know who asked for this. I don't think we need an explanation of the song Slide It In. We don't need an explanation of any of these songs. Take Me Down, Slow and Easy. Make Love to Me, Slow and Easy. Do we? What that song actually is about is flowers. You know, come on, dude, really? So yeah, just go with the regular Slide It In from Whitesnake. So moving back into new releases, the band Pussy from 1969 has this great album called Pussy Plays. Now, these guys only have this one album, but I think it's a pretty good album. It's got a lot of the psych elements in there. It's got a lot of just your basic rock tracks. It's a great album. A lot of people hearing this from this band wish they would have put out some more albums, and now it's finally happened with the new release, Pussy Plays Again. And you'll notice that it has basically the same cover artwork, even has very similar back cover artwork as well. And before this was released, I was under the impression by a few of the things that I'd read that this was previously unreleased tracks. These were unearthed tracks from the late 60s, early 70s that were never before released. So we're going to get this long-awaited follow-up to this album with some stuff that's just been found and being released. It turns out that is not the case. Basically, the Pussy Plays Again album is the band members, a couple of them anyway, but some other guys, getting the band back together and making new tracks, which, okay, let's give it a chance. I threw it on, listened to it. Comes with the vinyl actually comes with a free CD in there, relatively inexpensive. Turns out, the tracks themselves, the songs and the song structures and the playing and all that is pretty good. Great to see old guys that still got the passion for it. The problem with it is the sound quality. They put on the hype sticker that it's raw and real and is hearkening back to the sound of the late 60s. No, it's not. It sounds like just shit. I mean, it just sounds like somebody put a cassette recorder in the middle of the room and is just playing the band. This album doesn't sound like that. This album sounds like a professionally made album. It sounds great. So I don't understand the follow-up sounding like, and it doesn't sound like the 60s, it sounds like the 90s. It sounds like, remember in the 90s you had those indie groups that would make 45s and they would be up on the counter of the record store and you'd go in and they were in the plastic sleeves and you play it and it was all this lo-fi stuff and that was really hot for a while to sound super lo-fi and the drums sound like somebody's beating on a box and it's just got all this like wall of sound kind of, basically you're recording the room, sounds like ass. That's what this sounds like. It doesn't sound like the 60s, it sounds more like lo-fi from the 90s. So I'm not really sure why they made that decision. It's not a decision that I think suited them very well. Like I said, the songs are decent, but the sound quality of the Pussy Plays Again, just like the Andre 3000, another long awaited album, and unfortunately sort of a disappointment, but you do get the free CD. And they have re-released the original. That's the big news here. They've re-released the original, so if you don't have this album, which I said is great, then now's your chance to get it, and you can finally have a nice, legitimate reissue of Pussy Plays. Another new release that's out, Matchbox 20, and their album, Yourself or someone, I don't know what it's called, but Analog Productions just put this out. And so I just wanted to warn you, like I'm giving warnings about these albums before you go spend your money. You don't want to get ripped off. Just so you know, this Matchbox 20 album sounds like a Matchbox 20 album, just so you're aware. I know that Analog Productions has the reputation of making really great sounding albums, that the sound quality is going to blow you away, but a Matchbox 20 album is still going to sound like a Matchbox 20 album. So don't expect, they don't work miracles. They're not going to make a Matchbox 20 album sound like a decent listen. They're going to make it sound like a Matchbox, it's going to sound like shit, but it's going to sound like crystal clear shit. So yeah, Matchbox 20, terrible. In the 90s, I had to play those songs over and over and over and over and over and over again. So you can be forgiven if you like the songs in the 90s because they were forced on you. You're probably making your way through the grocery store and before you know what you're singing, it's been a long day, oh, and all that nonsense. You can be totally forgiven if you went out and bought the CD. Here's the thing. It's time to let it go, though. There's no reason to re-release this on a vinyl record. There's no reason to buy this. It's awful. It's friggin' people, just stop. It's Matchbox 20, okay? So before you go pick up a copy and you go, this has never been released on vinyl before, I've got to have it because I collect vinyl. Just remember, it's Matchbox 20, okay? That's the best. I want to push you down. Well, I will. The passion. Yeah, no, we don't need the return of Matchbox 20. We don't need this shit in our lives again. Let it go. Leave it in the past. Speaking of the past, I got this as a promotional CD. When this was first out, I never opened it. It still literally has the shrink wrap on it. Why would you open this? If you already have heard the songs 3 a.m., Long Day, Push, for God's sakes, why in the world would you want to hear any more? So this has stayed sealed this entire time. And speaking of CDs, you can get the CD of this for like 25 cents at any flea market or whatever, where they have like the CDs and they're all like 50 cents a piece, or plenty of Matchbox 20. So I don't know why we need a $75 album or whatever, because yeah, no, we just leave the Matchbox 20 in the past. I mean, nothing says deregulation of Radio Act and corporate takeover of music again, like the Matchbox 20. Just absolute garbage, and we don't need that. So you might be thinking, okay, well, what do I need? Damn it, I gotta buy something. I'm going to the record store. I gotta buy a record. Damn. Well, you can get like like the Vampire Weekend album. That's great. It's called Only God Was Above Us. And be sure to go to your favorite independently owned record stores so you can get the exclusive independent record store cover. So you got like a little collector's item there. That's pretty good. Songs are really catchy on there. These guys have been around for like, I don't know, like almost 20 years at this point. From New York City. New York City! Yeah, New York City. And so yeah, Vampire Weekend, they've got a great new release out that just came out. Another one is the Old 97s. They've been around since the 90s. Just like Matchbox 20, but this is music that's actually somewhat decent. Kind of an alt country group that is a little more leaning towards the alt part of that. But yeah, Old 97's American Primitive is the name of the album. I think it's on green vinyl, so you can catch that. They got some nice, catchy songs on there as well. The Black Keys have a new album. It's great. It's not great all the way through. There's some lesser tracks on there. We don't need the Juicy G or whatever, Juicy J. We don't need that. But the Black Keys. It's called Ohio Players. So maybe you can just go get some Ohio Players too. They're an awesome funk band from Ohio from the 70s. They've got all kinds of great releases with the album artwork that really just kind of stands out. So you can get Ohio Players. You can get William Bell. The Black Keys do a cover version of his excellent tune called I Forgot to Be Your Lover, which Billy Idol sort of kind of remade with to Be a Lover, but not, it's kind of the same, not really. But anyway, check out William Bell, for classic release. He's got the album called The Sound of a Bell. It's awesome. Check that out. But yeah, the Black Keys new album, that's pretty good too. Just, a couple of tracks to skip over. So there's some albums you might actually want to get that are brand new releases. And the Andre 3000, just know what you're getting before you get it. I mean, it's not as bad as like Matchbox 20, for God's sakes, but I mean, it is something that you have to know kind of what you're getting into before you throw down the $80 for a triple album of that. But yeah, just some buyer beware stuff, and stay away from that Whitesnake Japanese import. I don't know what that is. Why? Unless you just want a joke album, I guess. Anyway, buyer beware. Just trying to pass along some good information to you so you spend your money wisely. I'm Robert Fithen. Thanks for watching.